years, and I don't know how you left that. But what was the biggest adjustment going from Santa Barbara and kind of the California area to Wisconsin now to Iowa?
Yeah, I think the humidity was a big difference. So, California, Santa Barbara's all dry heat, and so humidity was a big thing. And then obviously the winters, that was very new. But I love the Midwest. I think it's great. I actually get to see seasons change. Santa Barbara, it's always sunny, so I love that. But it's really cool to see seasons change.
What was the winter wardrobe like when you first got in the Midwest? Was it pretty non-existent?
My first semester, so we had the bowl game in Vegas my freshman year at Wisconsin, and then I flew back home. And then my first day back, it was like negative 15. I think I wore like 3 pairs of sweats and like a huge coat. I was like, I'm not going to be cold today.
You've used the word blessing to describe this situation from your perspective a couple of times. You mentioned your mom went to a private religious college. Are you a person of faith, and how's that helping you navigate the situation?
Yeah, I'm a person of faith. I'm LDS. Believing in Heavenly Father and all that stuff. I pray every game in the end zone. I think just trusting in Him, letting Him, His plan or whatever, but I'm just here to do my job. So obviously, I think it's God's doing. But
when you got the call and you running out there, nerves at all? 70,000 under the lights, night game, tight game. Any nerves at all?
I think a little bit. I think I get kind of nervous, and then once I start running on the field, I'm good. I think obviously the QB sneak first play helps when you get hit a little bit. Everyone talks about, you get into the game and then that first hit is what really sets you off. And so that first hit was nice to get and then get going.
How big of a deal is the sneak back? Having the sneak back, that's like a staple Iowa play on short yardage.
Yeah, I mean,
are you pretty good at that?
I'm a fan of the play.
Okay.
I've always liked the QB sneak. In high school, we ran one under center play, and it was the QB sneak. Okay. So that's probably one of my favorite plays. But yeah, it's definitely a good play.
So you did get used to under center. Not many high school quarterbacks.
One play a game probably. Yeah. But we were 90% and 99% in the gun in high school. So
how much yardage could you pick up on that? Because you're obviously a bigger quarterback going up against some of those D lines.
Yeah, I mean, however yards the defense let me get, I'm gonna follow Lojo and all my linemen to glory. So, whatever happens. But we're just trying to pick up that first down.
What are some of your just early memories of playing football?
I think the first one was, so my first year ever playing, I think it was 3rd grade, and they did it by height and weight, and so I was playing with very much older kids. And then my parents ended up pulling me halfway through the year just because there were some other teams with ginormous dudes and they're like, you're going to get killed. And so I played flag football the rest of that year, and then next year picked it up again with my age group. And so kind of from then on is when I started to train as a quarterback and start playing with them.
How much older were they?
6th, 7th grade probably.
Oh, wow.
But it was kind of funny because I knew all of them, the 6th graders, because we played flag football during recess in elementary school together. But obviously tackle's different. So
how do you go from tackle back down to flag halfway through a year? Was there any
I wasn't playing much.
Okay.
I wasn't playing much on that team, and so it was fun to play flag. Run around like an idiot. But
what grade? So they were in 6th or 7th. What grade were you in?
I was in 3rd or 4th, I believe. Probably 4th. It's been a while. Taken a lot of hits since then. So
when you sat down and looked at the film, what did it tell you? You haven't had a lot of film in game situations for a long time. What was that learning experience like?
I think the learning experience was, being able to build confidence in myself. Taking a look at the film, I stood in there, took a couple shots. It's weird to say, but I miss the feeling of my body being sore after a game. It's sucky feeling, but at the same time, it's a nice feeling because you're out there, you're playing with your guys. So I think just building that confidence within myself is great.
What was Brian's message or Coach Bud's message to you?
I think the biggest thing was, good job stepping in, but we got to move on and get ready for Purdue. So that was the biggest thing, was prepping for this week.
Did you always have a big arm? Was there a moment growing up where you could just launch it?
I kind of credit my arm or whatever to water polo growing up. I played my first game when I was 4 years old. And so water polo was my first sport. It was my first love, I should say. And so, I kind of credit it to that because I was always water polo before I picked up football.
How did you learn, or water polo, at least in the Midwest, is not really a common sport to hear. How did you kind of pick that up?
Santa Barbara became a bigger thing. My sisters were playing Page Youth Center basketball with Kylie Neuschel, who ended up being on that Olympic team with my sister in Rio, and their mom. And my sisters were had swam a lot, and so their hair, when the chlorine touches your hair enough, it kind of turns blonde or greenish. And so my sister's hair was kind of green on the ends, and Kathy, Kylie's mom, came up and asked like, "Oh, do you guys swim or whatever? You guys should come play out and play water polo." And so that's kind of how it kicked off from our family.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you miss that?
Oh yeah, I miss water polo. It was so fun. I got a ton of friends who are playing in college right now. Probably one of my best friends, Ethan Parrish. He's a stud at Stanford right now, and so I definitely miss water polo. I'll probably play when I'm older. We always talked about doing a little siblings team, and so that'd be fun.
The Hill family would probably be winning most of those, right?
I'd hope so. I mean, Sammy's locked down in the cage, and then Abby's a monster, and Cody's a monster in the field. I'd kind of be the weak link compared to them, but
You'd probably take a few heads off with the ball, huh?
I think water polo. I think if you throw it hard enough, they shouldn't be able to block it. So,
How far can you throw a football?
I haven't really tested it ever. I think the farthest I've probably done is like 73, 74.
What do you think you could do?
I have no idea. I'm just really trying to, wherever the receiver is, that's how far I'm trying to throw it.
So have you always been big growing up? Were you always big for your age?
Yeah, I kind of credit. So I'm half Samoan. So
Okay.
my dad's full Samoan. So being the Polynesian, obviously you're a little thicker than normal people. So
At what age did you learn how to swim?
2, I believe. I don't really remember. My parents kind of just told me I learned to swim at 2. So, but yeah, probably I think it was 2 years old.
What was the adjustment of throwing a water polo ball to on the football? How did
Yeah, obviously it's a little different. Water polo, it's a lot more like wrist action. You're trying to like shape the ball with your wrist. And obviously you use that for football, but it's more arm. Like your wrist really in football is like trying to get that spin on the ball, you're flicking it. Water polo, you're kind of directing of where you want the ball to go.
was there like an adjustment period?
Yeah, for sure. JT Stone was my quarterback coach, my first ever quarterback coach when I was 4th grade, and then he got the head coaching job at the high school, and so I knew where I was going. And so I've known him forever, and he's kind of raised me in the football world. And so I had a water polo motion that was a lot over the top instead of like a little more equal, I guess. And so he would always try and fix that, and he'd get mad when I'd go back to my water polo stuff. But then I ended up quitting water polo my sophomore year to focus on football, and I guess it worked out. So.
Do you miss it at all?
Oh yeah, tons. You know, I love the game of water polo. You know, watching my sister play. When I was in the portal, they had the NCAA championships up at Michigan, and so I flew up to Michigan to watch my sister play, which was always nice.
Have Coach Bud or Brian noticed the water polo motion at all at this point?
Thankfully
in your career?
not. I think
Okay.
it's gone for good now. Hopefully it's gone for good now. But you know, Bud, if he sees something, he'll call me out on it.
Sure.
I was told I think there was a play like during your senior year of high school where you hurdled someone. Does
yeah.
that ring a bell?
Yeah.
What all do you remember?
It's kind of a broken play, kind of rolled out. I wouldn't so much just call it a hurdle. The dude was kind of like diving at my ankles, and I kind of just like hopped and happened to land over him. But yeah, it was probably the biggest. But yeah, it was fun. I was like, screw it, I might as well just try it.
What was the biggest culture adjustment growing up on the West Coast and then going to school in the Midwest?
I think it was different being like in places where there's a ton more people. You know, Santa Barbara's kind of not isolated, but decently isolated. You know, you see the same people every day, and you know, getting to a bigger schools to where you're seeing new people every day was probably the biggest thing.
Do you miss? I heard you're into surfing, right?
Oh yeah, I love surfing. Actually, when we went after school the last semester, we had like our 2 weeks off for summer. I had to go to Dallas, and my flight ended up getting like delayed till like 3 a.m. So I was supposed to get home at 9:45 p.m. Got home at like 3 a.m. And one of my best friends lives in LA. Picked me up. We pulled an all-nighter and headed out to the beach at like 5:30, catch some waves. So I love surfing.
How did that session go?
It was good. We went to Malibu. It was my first time going there. He moved down to LA to be a drummer. So he was like, yeah, I got a spot we can go to. Went out there. There was not too many people, so it was nice. Catch a few waves, but the water felt great.
more to the current football side of things. So approaching this week, does it feel different? I mean, knowing that you're going to be
Yeah.
the starter and being looked to, has there been different, I don't know, conversations, prep? What has that been like?
Yeah, I think obviously there's a different feeling like knowing you're going to be playing on Saturday. But I don't think my prep has changed a lot. I've talked to Bud. We got a routine going since the first week. And so establishing that routine and just keeping that thing moving forward is probably what I need the best.
How much different do you think it'll feel on Saturday when you've already been out there for kind of a substantial number of snaps?
Yeah, I'll probably be a little more nervous. I think anybody would. But I think it's just keying in and focusing on what the fundamentals are and what the fundamentals of our game plan is and just leaning on that.
A few drops on Saturday, especially with you coming in and the change from Cade. Is that something you guys have been working on? Have you been getting a lot of reps this week or anything like that?
Yeah, like we've gotten some extra reps after practice. I'm not too worried about it. I have all the belief in the world in those guys. I think it was just, whatever, a couple drops, that's it. And so, we're not too worried about that. Obviously, we're getting some reps just to build chemistry.
What are there any like big similarities between you and Cade in your game, the way you play?
I think the confidence we kind of try and both play with. I think obviously he has a little bit more because he's played with more experience, but I want to match that, and so guys could be like, yeah, like this is our guy now, like let's ride.
Cool.
A few more questions for Deacon.
Switch off of football real quick for a second. I was talking to Cooper and Jamari, and T Swift came up. Jamari said Cooper might be a big Swiftie. He denied it. How about you? Would you say you're a Swiftie? And then could you give a favorite song?
I don't know about a Swiftie. I'm more of a Katy Perry guy.
Okay.
Fun fact, she went to high school in Santa Barbara. So I'm more of a Katy Perry guy, if I'm being honest.
Said you're LDS. Do you have any ties to? I lived in Utah for 10 years, so I grew up kind of around the culture. Do you have any family in Utah? Or?
Yeah, we have a bunch of Utah family in Utah. I know my uncle, my aunt on my mom's side lived there, and then my dad's side has a bunch of family up there.
Up northern Utah.
Yeah, usually like Provo, Salt Lake City area.
Okay.
I got some cousins who play for Utah and BYU. So.
Oh, sure. Okay. I lived in St. George for.
Gotcha.
10
Oh
years.
yeah,
That's
I have
what
uncle who lives there too. It's kind of hard to keep track of.
Yeah. Big family.
Yeah.
You have the Katy Perry fun fact. Any other Santa Barbara fun facts you're proud of?
Let's see. Randall Cunningham went to my high school. Both Cunningham, Sam, rest in peace, Sam Cunningham. He just passed away recently last year, but the Cunninghams went to my high school, and then my grandparents were high school sweethearts from my high school, so
Oh wow,
it was probably cool.
runs in the family.
Yeah.
Okay, Deacon. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.